After being the biggest winner of college football last week while on a bye, number 21 ranked Colorado is now second in the Big 12 and looking to keep their Big 12 championship contention alive this week as they head to play Texas Tech on the road.
Welcome to Buffs Banter,
your source for Colorado football. Let's
go,
Buffs!
Welcome in, everybody, to Buffs Banter, presented by Believe Network. My name is Dean Frank, and I'm here with my co-host, Oscar Gonzalez-Moore. Make sure to subscribe and follow us as we break down every single matchup as the Buffs look to keep their playoff hopes alive for the rest of the season. But first, we got a big game ahead of us, Texas Tech. The Buffs just came off a bye week. A lot to cover. Oscar, how are we feeling, man?
Good, man. I am excited right now. One, there's so many things to be excited about, but the main thing right now in this moment I'm excited about is to be back on the podcast with my best friend, Dino. I mean, just a week goes by and I'm like fiending to just get back on here, man. It feels good. I don't know what we're going to do when the football season's over, but yeah, why don't you start off with your thoughts on what happened during Colorado's bye week?
Sure. So obviously, if you guys aren't living under a rock as Buffs fans, I mean, this was huge for us. I know we had the bye week, but Kansas State and Iowa State both losing in big upsets games. I mean, I was looking at the lines before the games, and it was like 13.5 for both of them. So huge upset games. And I mean, I'm not complaining. This helped out the Buffs. The Buffs moved to second in the Big 12 rankings, just behind BYU, who is still undefeated. But we got Kansas State on the tiebreaker now, even though they beat us. And then we are tied as well with Iowa State. And as we talk a little bit about Iowa State, they just lost to Texas Tech, who we happen to be playing against this week. So Texas Tech is still alive too. I mean, if they beat the Buffs, they have the tiebreaker over Iowa State. I mean, I know there's a lot of football left to be played, but the Big 12 is still wide open in the air. But honestly, I do like the Buffs' chances right now. I mean, if we could win out, I think this Texas Tech game is probably the hardest left on our schedule. Don't want to talk too forward into the future because I know it's every game at a time. I mean, we got to take this game like it's 1-0 and the season is just starting because I don't want it to be, oh, the Buffs ego got involved. Like Travis Hunter was on College Game Day. Like we got too ahead of ourselves. Like we do got to focus on this game. It is definitely winnable, and we're definitely going to preview why this is so winnable and why we believe that the Buffs are going to come out on top. Kind of just yapping, but yeah, we're in a good spot right now as Buffs, and I do wish this game was in Folsom Field just because I love watching the games, and I think that prime time, like Saturday night, have just been perfect here at Folsom Field, and the atmosphere is electric. But I know that at Texas Tech, they're going to be just as excited because we're their Super Bowl, man. I mean, either way, like this is a must-win game for them. So let's talk a little bit about Texas Tech and just how are you feeling as the Buffs come off the bye?
Hey guys, just want to take a quick second to shout out Goonsville Clothing,
the up-and-coming clothing brand made by a CU student for the college student.
Go check them out and use code BuffsBanter.
Back to the pod.
The crazy thing is, for the first time in a long time, is the Colorado Buffaloes control their destiny to the college football playoffs, to the Big 12 championship, to the end of their season, and many seasons to come forward, man. And I think to that point, where everybody's Super Bowl, you just said, I mean, Texas Tech is a good team, but like Colorado has faced an immense amount of pressure this entire season. Spotlights have been on this team since you and I stepped in the building for our junior year, Dean. And it's like, okay, great. Texas Tech just beat Iowa State, who was, by the way, been looking pretty fraudulent. Would not be surprised if they lose to Kansas this weekend, okay? And it's like, everyone's talking about how, I'm blanking on the name of their stadium, but how that stadium, Texas football, it's different, man. Like, stop. We went into freaking Central Florida and killed them. I mean, I think the media's perception of this team is why the spread's way too low right now. But I'm feeling good, man. I mean, just a quick stat, like on Tech's defensive side of the ball, which is not what you want to do against Shador and the Colorado Buffaloes. They're a bottom 25 unit, seating 34.4 points per game, which is the 50th worst in all of college football. And like, I feel like that is enough on its own. I mean, even if their offense, which got to give credit when credit's due, has been playing pretty well this year, which we can get into in a second. The last thing you want to do against this Colorado football team is get into a shootout, and we've seen that plenty of times and how that's played out.
Definitely. I think it's perfect for the Buffs fans for us to just kind of break down what Texas Tech has been so successful with this year as we kind of just been scouting this. I mean, we've had the whole week to do it. So you kind of mentioned it. Texas Tech's defense. Their pass defense has been sputtering. They're ranking second worst in the country, allowing 307 passing yards per game. And when you're about to be matched up by probably the best thrown quarterback in the league, that is just not a recipe for success, man. So I'm expecting a big over game for Shedeur. I mean, take the over, passing yards, touchdowns, whatever it is. I think it's going to be a shootout. I mean, we know with this Buffs teams, like if it is a shootout, we win. So I'm expecting a big shootout because their defense, especially their pass defense, they haven't really been able to get to the quarterback too much. They aren't a sack-heavy team. They're allowing – what are they allowing? They're allowing 446 total yards per contest. That is bottom 25th in the country, and obviously we talk about it. Our offense, the Buffs offense is definitely one of our, like Shedeur, Travis, LeJounte, Shepard, now Augusta is in the mix. It's like we have a top offense in the country, no matter who we play. So when the defense were matching up, just like we saw with a couple, like with Cincinnati, I mean, they didn't have a rush or pass heavy defense, whereas like, all right, give Shedeur some time in the pocket and we're going to cook, So I do like the matchup from our offensive perspective. You did talk about it a little bit as well, but their offense definitely, I mean, led by Baron Morton, I don't know. I don't want to say underrated, but I just feel like you don't really hear his name too much in the Big 12 conversation of quarterback talks, but he's quietly having a great year. 2,300 passing yards and 19 touchdowns. Comparing that is to Shedeur's 2,500 passing yards and 21 touchdowns. So obviously he's a little behind him, but I mean, Barron's keeping it up for himself, and I definitely want to talk a little bit more about their skill position players. But am I missing anything else, just stat wise?
Yeah, I would just add in Texas Tech has played one more game, so those stats are slightly inflated by a game. But no, you're right. Give credit where credit's due. I'm just really excited, man. Like, I don't know if you were tapping into Shedeur's podcast this week, but he had Travis on. And Travis Hunter is pissed off, ladies and gentlemen. He thinks he deserves to be, and rightfully so, may I say, a top 5 wide receiver, a top 5 cornerback in college football. And people keep disrespecting his name. He went 9 for 9 last week, and hasn't let up more than 30 yards, I think, this season on defense.
That is
to
insane.
A wide receiver, including locking up T-Mac. Like, come on. So he's going to show up to Texas. He's going to play pissed off football, which is what we need, man. And he is going to have a field day on both sides of the ball. I mean, I would be surprised if Texas Tech put up 20 points. You know what I mean? And those points are probably coming when Mr. Hunter is not in the football game.
We want to give a huge shout out to our official sponsor, Tuk Tuk Bites. Not only are they offering frozen naan and other great game day snacks, but they have a great restaurant right here in Boulder, Colorado. So whether you're grabbing takeout or planning a night out, Tuk Tuk Bites has you covered. Check them out.
Definitely. I mean, I would love to see the one. I did listen to that podcast, by the way, and Travis said himself, he's pretty much got every single stat that he wanted this year, except the pick 6. So you know what? Let's do it. Travis Hunter, pick 6, incoming this week. He wants it.
Destiny.
He's angry. I mean, it's a simulation. It's going to happen. So, going forward, last thing I want to talk about with this Texas Tech offense before we can just run into what we want to see from the Buffs. But credit where credit's due, Mr. Taj Brooks. He's the running back for Texas Tech. Look out for him. He's already over 1,000 rushing yards on the ground this year. I mean, he's a bully. Like he'll run through our defense. So we're gonna have to stop him. I mean, he has over 1,000 yards. I mean, you got to put him in that conversation with Genty. I mean, we've seen a couple good running backs. I know UCF had a good running back, but other than that, it's like it's kind of wide open. So Taj Brooks definitely has a big name for himself. He earned the credit, and we got to respect that. So I'd imagine that the game plan is to stop the run. And while at the wide receiver side, Mr. Joshua Kelly, who has over 700 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he's a stud. He's a good ball player, but like now let's talk about us because this cornerback trio, like we've mentioned before, McKinney, Hodge, Travis Hunter, like they're unstoppable. So I'm not worried about our secondary. I think where the game plan needs to be focused on is our rush defense because it looks like that's where they rely heavily.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mr. Dean Frank. Loving the manners, man. You're being so polite. Me, on the other hand, I'm not going to be that polite. Listen, the bottom line is you're right. Brooks, amazing ball carrier. I just think this defense has got so much better every week, including, the secondary, like you said, is really coming together. But, the front seven is just disgusting, too. You got guys like BJ Green. Finally, dude, I feel like we're saying his name more and more every week. He's coming alive. Bentley, beast every single week. I could list literally every guy on the team, man. And we got numbers now too. You know what I mean? It's like guys are coming in. Like it's not like the same guy every week as we've seen. So Brooks, not really worried about it. Not really worried about it. I know you got to give credit where credit's due. So thank you, Mr. Brooks. But respectfully, Mr. Dean Frank, I'm gonna disagree with you, and I think we're covered. I think them boys got us covered.
No, by all means, man. I have the respect, and I'm confident in our defense. I'm just saying the game plan needs to be to stop Brooks, and we go from there. A guy you didn't mention too, which I'm sure is on top of your head, but Mr. Cameron Silman Craig, like he's a safety. No, Shark, let's go. He's making a name for himself. He's branding. He's becoming, his own image. I know we got the star-studded team with Travis Shadur, even Shiloh, but it seems like Cameron Silman Craig is slowly becoming that, like, the league talent guy that I think he's making a name for himself, and I think the rest of the country is finally seeing that. So I'm expecting a big game from him as well. The one thing I like about this Colorado team, especially coming off the bye, it just seems like every single week we get better. So I'm expecting big things. I know that we did practice last week too, even though we had the bye. So it doesn't look like, where the whole bandwagon media can get off this is just the hype. Like it's not actually going to happen. That was last year. This is a new team. We are 4-1 in the Big 12 conference. Colorado football is a real deal, and we're here to contend for the Big 12 championship. Like this is it. If we beat Texas Tech, I love our chances to just win out and keep moving forward because, like I said, this is definitely going to be the toughest game we have left on our schedule. I know, like at the start of the season, we would think Utah would be that, even Oklahoma State would be that, but no, it's Texas Tech. In Texas, I know Coach Prime actually has a relationship with their coach McGuire. He used to coach Deion Sanders Jr. actually, so I think there's respect there. But at the same time, like always, man, it's personal, and we know it's at stake. I don't think Coach Prime is at any shape, way, or form he's letting go right now. I think he realizes what's at stake. He had so much hate on him just a couple months ago, and right now he's at the talks for Coach of the Year. So I think this team, as we get better every single week, I expect us to keep progressing. And I think let's talk about the spread now. It started at 2.5. It's now 3.5. 1 point, who cares? No biggie. We take that. I think we win in at least by a touchdown because this offense is just too much to handle.
Yeah, easily. And I think I was just pulling up the game spreads myself, but you just take a look at this Texas Tech team. I'm going to just read off some of their close scores, okay? Week 1, Abalone Christian win 52-51 at home. Week 2, Washington State L 37-16. Baylor at home L 59-35. At TCU L 35-34. And it's just like Boulder, on the other hand, Colorado, these Buffs, man. Yes, we lost to Nebraska 28-10. That sucks. That was week 2. I know it hurts. But since then, man, we lost to Kansas State in a thriller without Travis. Since then, Arizona 34-7 W at Zona. Cincinnati 6-2 team. See ya 34-23 W. I am not worried about this team. This Texas Tech team, to me, seems fraudulent. And like you were just saying, I know you want to talk about the spread, but Colorado football is real. ladies and gentlemen. We're here. This is no longer a reality TV show. This is real life. This is like take off the 3D goggles and look at the screen, baby, because prime time is here. Anyways, I'm getting too excited. This is what happens when we don't do
Oh,
a
I
podcast.
love it. I love it. I think
It's like
what
9 p.m. on a Wednesday right now, and I'm just amped.
no.
Anyways, yeah, so the spread, I think I mentioned it earlier. I mean, yeah, I like our odds. I mean, it's already been pushed up 1.5 points. I think the Iowa State hype got a little too overlooked, I guess. And like we've been saying this entire year, people just love to see Colorado lose. It's like anytime they can, it's like, oh, Colorado 3.5. Oh my God, that's so free. Even if they win, they're not going to win by more than 3. Like, bro, we're going to win by 20. Come on.
No, and now that we're back to clipping these pods, I gotta let's just say this right now. So after the game, we can look back and just be like, we told you so. All right. Colorado is winning this game, and it's not even going to be close. Yes, it might be a shootout. The over is going to hit, but we're going to win by more than a touchdown. This offense is just too much to control. Their defense, oh my God. Compared to Nebraska, compared to these other teams that we played, it's nothing. We're going to step over them. We're going to curb stomp them. And we're going to keep our contention alive in this Big 12 championship. I think after Saturday, we're going to be ranked even higher. We're going to be still ranked second. And the whole world is going to realize that this team is the real deal because Colorado football is here to stay. And like you said, I'm not too worried about Texas Tech. I mean, compared to us, we won every game we're supposed to, right? And the loss against, Nebraska, we're not going to talk about that. We took the L and we'll move forward. Kansas State, we didn't have Travis. We have Travis motherfucking Hunter, baby. And he's the Heisman contender. And I think if he has another big game, I think it's his to lose because the whole world is going to be watching this one big noon kickoff. I like our chances, man. And I know, I mean, we both might just be yapping a little bit, but I'm so sure of it. And I don't really understand, again, why the line is so low. I mean, 3.5, sure, a field goal. I mean, we don't even kick field goals. So I like us by a touchdown, and I think we just keep moving this momentum alive, man. I mean, we had the bye week. We're healthy for the most part. We're rested. We're going into Texas. I mean, we're not scared of the moment. I mean, sure, this team, obviously, compared to last year, so much more depth, right? I mean, we aren't just a two-man show anymore. But on the same side, it's like the two-man show that we have with Travis and Shadur, they're going to be top picks in the NFL next year. Do you think they care about this game? I mean, no. They're going to be playing in so much more bigger games. They want the moment. They want the pressure. They want everybody to be watching. So I think they're going to do that, and they're not going to surprise us. They might shock the rest of the world, but I think Shadur will go for over 300, 4 touchdowns. Travis is going to have another 100 receiving yard day, have a pick 6 of his own, and we'll be watching this back, and we'll say, I told you so.
100%. I couldn't have said it better, Mr. Frank. And just like Shadur and Travis, man, we're not a two-man show anymore. And like you said, we have been yapping. We started this shit, and it was just me and you making some podcasts about our life, you know what I mean? And now we've grown a following, And that's what these people are here to hear, Dean. 2 passionate college kids saying their takes, saying their truth that go to Colorado, and can give that genuine student experience. So, Dean, sorry we're yapping. I am a little bit too, but we know you guys love it. And yeah, Skull Buffs, baby.
Sure.
Skull
No,
Buffs.
that's a great way. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like sorry, not sorry. I think the reason I love this and the reason I love watching guys like PFF, even On 3, just shout out to the boys out there because this ain't corporate media, like what ESPN and College Game Day are going to tell you. Of course, I love watching College Game Day, but they don't give you the full truth. And I think the full truth is that people are scared that Colorado is the real deal. People are scared that Colorado has a chance to make the college football championship. I mean, I know it's probably a little under 20% right now, but I'll take those odds. I mean, with the odds that we've had from just a couple years ago, being 1-11, Coach Prime coming, changing the whole culture around. He's about to win Coach of the Year. Travis Hunter is about to win Heisman. I mean, I'm going to take our odds. We're going to stay as underdogs, but we're going to
win number 1 in the draft.
Yeah, Shadur is going number 1 in the draft, and we're just going to keep working our way up, no matter who hates on it. And at the same time, there are those people that love it. So like you said, I appreciate all y'all Buff Nation for just tuning in, and we're here for the ride. I mean, just get excited because it hasn't been like this for a while for Colorado football, and we have a chance to make history right now. So I think we take the win in Texas Tech, and we keep moving the win train forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Utah is going to be a blast, man. You're coming right off that flight from San Diego. My hometown friends are coming over, 10 a.m. kickoff time. Woo-wee! It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun being 7-2.
Let's
back
go.
in Colorado.
Let's go. We will see y'all in the future. Another win coming, and let's go. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.